Okay, chat, so no face games today, but I do want to discuss the rerun banners that we could possibly see in 5.5. Now, we do basically have a guaranteed banner, which is either Eon-san or Varisa or whatever the name is, but one of those two characters, they'll be the 5-star, and I'm assuming they can either put her like the same 4-star with the character. The reason I don't think both of them are going to be 5 stars is because they're both Electro. There's not really... It'd be pretty weird if, you know, they drop 2 Electro 5 stars in the same update. I don't think that they're going to be dropping those. So, yeah, you know, whichever one of those. So we kind of have one banner already set up. And then we also have a second banner. So that is Venti. And the reason why Venti is, they just pick every single time we start a new version update. They just start dropping the Archons every single update. So, yeah, we're about to have Venti next update. So that's 2 banners already taken care of. So we're still looking for reruns for Senyun and Emily right now, but I do not think that Emily is going to come unless Kanich also is tied with her, sort of how they only reran Siegeween when Fiorina was in the same update. So I imagine, you know, and they also released Siegeween and Fiorina's rerun in the same update, I believe also. Yes, they did. So Siegeween kind of tied to, you know, Fiorina because they're 2 5-stars that work together. It's basically going to be the same thing with Kanich and, you know, Emily. So they could go both banners, Kanich, Emily as the banner. However, Mualani was a very, very well-perceived character, honestly. When we started Natlan, I didn't really see many people hating on her, obviously for other, you know, Natlan hating reasons, right? Obviously that, you know, there are a couple of reasons to hate this character. But, you know, compared to, like, you know, once we got to Shiloden, the hate train for this game just increased so much. Shiloden was constantly, you know, completely belittled. She was basically made to seem just like, oh, she's a Kazuha side grid when she was an outright improvement. And, you know, people who still deny that are just dumb. Especially now with Mavuika's release. It's kind of dumb. But Mualani here, she is a very well-perceived character. When everyone saw, you know, Mualani in trailers and stuff, they were like, yeah, that's the character I'm summoning for. So I would think that they would want to rerun her. Now, we can get into maybe the next character that could get a rerun, right? So it could be Mualani Senyun. I could see that happening very easily. But Shilonen also is on the table. It has been... I mean, what? It'll be 4 updates since she released, right? And it's not unprecedented to think this because Nevi came out after Lenny, as you can see here by order of release, sort of, and he got a rerun before Lenny. Now, obviously, he's a little more lore relevant, and, like, you know, the Archon's best friend, you know, just think with me, right? You know, Archon's best friend, she's right here. We could definitely see a Shilonen rerun. We could, I think... It is possible to see Mualani plus Shilonen. I do think that is a possibility. However, I do really think that Senyun, she's very old. Both Siegeween and Shiori and Chloride have now had all their, and Arlecchino have had reruns. So every 4-star or 5-star that was like right in front of her, and every 5-star right after her seems to have gotten a rerun. It is her turn now. I don't think that we're going to go to Leeway anytime soon. Considering we just went through Lantern Rite with the whole, you know, Lanyan thing, and we didn't get Senyun's rerun, I imagine she's still going to be coming soon, unless they lock her up like a cryo character, which I don't think they'll do. It is also important to note, Senyun is also heavily tied with Fiorina, so I could even see Senyun being like first phase, right? So right after Fiorina's banner, it's like, oh, good, Senyun's right there. Because Senyun was like a sort of band-aid onto Fiorina's condition, I would say. She worked very well. She worked very well to, you know, sort of, you know, make Fiorina's condition nowhere near as bad as it was because she was in a lot of best-in-slot teams, right? So, yeah, I do think the outcome we will probably see, if I had to predict, I really feel like Mualani is going to be the character that we see. I really do. I think the highest likelihood is Mualani, Senyun, and, you know, we already... Who was the character that oh, yeah, Venti, right? Yeah, that guy. Yeah, basically, Mualani, Senyun, Venti are the characters that I'm expecting, right? So, and then, obviously, the new 5-star, whichever one that may be. I think those will be our characters that we are summoning for, because I do think, overall, it kind of makes sense. You know, you got Fiorina plus Senyun, sort of close in proximity. You got Venti, just because he's an Archon. And then you have Mualani, because this is a round where she should be slated to rerun. You know, we could see Shilonen. I don't necessarily... I mean, what was it? When did Nevi get his rerun? So Nevi came out in 4.1, then Furina rolls around in 4.2, and then we wait an update, 4.3, a second update, okay, and then 4.5, Nevi gets a rerun. I do think that's probable. I think, you know, Mavwika, we go through this update, we go through the next update, we don't see Shilonen, then it's Shilonen, right? I do think that's probable. Personally, I would want Shilonen so I can save for Mualani, because I am going to have to get Mualani eventually. I will have to. And then, yeah. So I think Sinyun, she's pretty, like, if just in common sense, they could easily lock this character away, but using, like, just common sense of who should be reran, it's this character. But then again, don't forget, Risley did not have a banner for, like, 16 months or something. When was his first banner, right? His first banner was, we'll say the end date of his first banner. So 1107 is when he released, or, well, the final day of his banner, right? And then 1107 2023, and then 2025. I mean, that is quite a bit. It's like 14 months or something. I'm not doing math right now, but Risley, he had a long rerun. We could see the same thing with Sinyun, but Sinyun is kind of like it's kind of like, a lesser version of Nevi, right? So you have Nevi and stuff, and then Sinyun's here, and she's like able to sort of help with Furina. So, you know, just having these two as a core on a team is good, and then having this main DPS, who was the best DPS at the time, also be the best support as Furina. You know, that sort of covered all the bases to make this character good. So, you know, we see Mavwika, she's gotten probably the same thing, you know, with Mualani Kanich as their DPS characters, right? And then obviously Mavwika's is the best DPS, but also as a support, Mualani Kanich, right? And you have Shilonen as the, you know, DPS support. Mualani, Sinyun, Venti. I think Mualani, Sinyun, Venti, because I think Kanich and Emily, I just don't see this guy getting a rerun before, like, Mualani. I don't. People loved Mualani way more than this guy. People thought he was cool, but then once his kit got revealed and stuff, I just saw nothing but, like, I mean, I was hating on him a little bit, but, like, you know, the Natlin, like, hatred overall just increased, like, slightly. And then with Shilonen's, like, teasing and, like, her release, it boomed up, right? So he was, like, the beginning of the Natlin hate, but it wasn't necessarily that bad. And then Shilonen releases, and everybody starts saying they hate Natlin. Everybody. And, I mean, that's just what happens with new regions. It's like, we go through this cycle of, I hate this region. Fontaine was probably the one where I saw the least complaining, honestly. But still, and, I mean, that's just because all the characters were good. I have to say, like, well, Risley came out, but I think that's just because, you know, there wasn't really much to hate about Fontaine other than its, you know, story quest basically being fully just only story, no gameplay whatsoever. So you're kind of just sitting there, just listening, which is just the standard Genshin Archon quest that we had forever. But with Natlin, people just, they really don't like it. I don't necessarily get why. Like, there's a couple reasons, but I won't go into it in this video, but I do think my final predictions for the banners will be Venti, you know, Sinyun, and then Mualani. I think Mualani, you know, I hope she's not, but, you know, who knows? Who knows? We'll find out. We should find out in probably like 11 days, right? 3 days before the banners go away. I don't remember when we do the live stream. Have they teased it yet? They typically, like, tease it really early. they typically do. Let me go search up Genshin Impact on YouTube real quick. No, they have not teased it yet. They haven't. But my prediction, I will just stand by it, and I will say that is my prediction. Sinyun, Bennett, Mualani, or Bennett? Of all... I don't know. All right. I don't know, chat. But Facecam should be back tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.